To start, press any key. Where's the any key? I see ESC, Catarl, and Pigup. There doesn't seem to be any key. Whew. All this computer hacking is making me thirsty. I think I'll order a tab. Oh, no time for that now. The computer's starting.
News Talk 1430 WXNT, and you've reached the edge of the web with Aaron Sparks.
Push the button.
I tell you what, we could go on for hours talking about blogging and infographics. We dig it. It's fun stuff, and it's really, I wouldn't say it's cutting edge, but it is very valuable for creating user engagement and really getting the point across. So anyway, the point being, companies can use this. This is not just a point where it's not a tool for blogging or internet marketing folk. This actually really can resonate with any type of company,
Yes.
any professional service. Anyway, anytime you use a whiteboard to get a point across, right?
Yeah.
Or line up a flow graphic. I mean, literally, you can do the same thing with infographics. It encapsulates the concept, the point, and gets it across to your audience.
And the strategy doesn't change between blogging and infographics either. That get a strategy first.
Right.
You know, I think we see a lot of companies just dive in. They, we've got a designer, we'll do an infographic, or hey, we can start up a blog for free. Let's just start it up.
Right.
And they tend to just fail.
Right.
Immediately. So my advice would be, go see, what people are doing, read a book.
Do your research.
Corporate
blogging for dummies.
Thanks for the plug. Talk to an expert, straight no, seriously. I mean, what we see is this is a labor-intensive, resource-intensive strategy.
Yeah.
It's a low cost per lead, so that's why it's great. But that takes a long time to build up to.
Right.
And so you've got to have momentum, time, all of these pieces lined up. If you're not in it for the long haul, you're not going to make the gains.
That's right.
So get that strategy set early so that you can execute and get the results that you want.
Absolutely. You're talking to Douglas Karr from DK New Media on Edge of the Web Radio, produced by Site Strategics. We've been talking about blogging, talking about actual tools in blogging, such as infographics, which are big honking graphics that get a point across. We're actually going to shift gears right now because we do talk about a lot of different things for marketing purposes, inbound marketing. One of the things that is highly valuable is local search. If you do search online, I mean, honestly, search has killed Yellow Pages. That's a foregone issue.
Well, and Yellow Pages is trying to dominate search.
I know. Well, they're trying to dominate paid search,
Yeah.
and in that regard, it's a whole different beast. And that's going to be dying as well. Organic value is incredibly. Although paid relevancy, and Google's actually shoving those organics down even further.
Yeah.
But consumers know where to get the meat, and they're always going to know that. And getting that top listing on organic with whatever your service is or whatever the pain point is for that consumer, plus that local area, Indianapolis, Carmel,
Right.
Louisville. Those searches, that education process that people go through. It's almost invariable that they're going to be qualifying companies that they're looking for with a geotag, with a geographic reference,
And sometimes without knowing it. Personalized search is based on, sometimes your geography. So if I search for a, Thai restaurant, I'm going to get Indianapolis results.
That's right.
If I'm in Chicago, I'm going to get Chicago results.
Yeah.
And then the other one is with Penguin and social influence, and your network influence is social has a huge impact. And because your network is typically local, you're going to get local results.
That's
so
right.
Geolocal search is, in my book, is the number one, search engine methodology.
One of the ways to actually get local optimization is obviously referencing locality and zip codes and what have you on your website and blog, references to the local area. But a lot of it has to do with link building and getting inbound links from different types of websites that can really validate you as a local reference. Part of this is actually gives them examples of link building for local search. The type of local links are like search engine local websites, Google Places, Google Plus now, Yahoo Local and Bing Local. business organizations in the local community. Absolutely. Yeah. Anything that's known inside that area, you can do some searches with these key qualifiers to find who links.
And I think Doug had a kind of a cool tool that you mentioned during break.
Right.
Yeah, well, a lot of these folks out there have open APIs, application programming interfaces, where you can submit data to, and so we found one called Yext, YEXT, and it's basically you pay on a monthly basis, but they submit you to every local kind of directory service. Some of it's Yellow Pages and stuff like that, but the fact is that many of those sites have links back to you.
Yep.
And those guys are all fighting for local search as well. So I like Yext because I'm not paying Yellow Pages, to compete with me.
On principle, I won't.
And that's but you're right. I mean, why would you pay a directory service to compete with you on local search when you can win it yourself?
Exactly. And on top of that, the directory surface itself, the bounce rates are high.
Absolutely. It's showing all your competitors.
Right. Exactly.
But
earn your stripes your own.
But there's some gems in that Yext system that I think it's like $50 a month or something, and then they have an enterprise too. So if you're a large company with multiple organizations, you can handle it. But it's always nice then instead of sitting there submitting 100 times. Pay one service, get it all done.
Or actually, you can actually pay a company such as Site Strategics who can actually help do all that for you.
And that's a lot more strategic.
You better believe it.
Absolutely. No, I mean
thus the name. Some other links that you can actually get: charities in the surrounding area.
Oh,
if your site or your company engages with different charities, see if we can get those links coming back over to the website. Chamber of Commerce, right? Local news publications, TV stations, alternative newsletters. Newspapers, radio stations, local business directories, city websites, local bloggers, business partners. There's so much at the local standpoint that you can get a hold of. Just doing some searches on this will provide those relevant points of contact. Getting started, you can put some qualifiers in searching for zip code, city, county, state, and region. Even getting some guest blogging or put some blog for different websites, getting some local links coming back to you are valuable. I'll tell you what, last bit here I'm going to talk about, I'm going to drop local. We always would love to talk about that, and if you're interested in local search and how that can benefit you can always contact Site Strategics at 877-SEO for web, or you can just find us for Indianapolis Search Engine Marketing. You'll find us right at the top of the list. What I want to shift gears, we try to throw a cool tool in at the end of every show. One thing that we came across that's very, very, very important is making sure that your content is unique content. And we look at an inventory a website's content, making sure that it hasn't been repurposed by another website, because invariably Google's going to penalize you or them for that content. There's a tool called Copyscape that's out there that will inventory your entire site that you give it.
Yep.
And we'll look and see whether or not that content has been repurposed. Now, the fact of the matter is, if you're good at what you're doing, if you're at the top of search, you're going to be copied by other companies.
Absolutely.
Because they're seeing what you're doing. Your content's going to be scraped, and you need to have a mitigation strategy in place to be able to knock on their door and say cease and desist.
Right.
And there are processes in place. It's intellectual property law that we're talking about here. It's copyscape.com. You can find your duplicate content. I tell you what, there's so many things that we could talk about. I just want to thank Doug for coming out here and talking for an hour. It went way too bloody quick. You can find us. You can find Doug at dknewmedia.com. Marketing Tech Blog is great for great information. You can also find us at sitestrategics.com. You can hear our iTunes and check out our video here on YouTube. They'll be able to, we're going to be spicing the videos up with a lot of neat infographic information. So, this is Site Strategics, Indiana Search Engine Marketing. Give us a call next week. Hey, you don't be a piece of cyber driftwood. You got to contact us. This is Edge of the Web Radio on 1430 News Talk WXNT. See ya next show.